living in darkness, look for the light, cause a fire is burning and they're helping you fight. It's the fire keepers, the fire keepers, fire keepers, fire keepers, fire keepers. Recovery, Bunker BG, talk recovery. Fire keepers, fire. Welcome to Firekeeper Recovery. I'm Brant.
Bumper Smith.
And today we're joined by another North Carolina peer support specialist,
Bethany Powers.
And thank you, Bethany, for being here and sharing some of your time and your story with us. And before we get started, we'll do a quick check-in. Me, I'm doing pretty good. Just keep rolling on from the last one, just learning from my mistakes. And the only mistake is not learning from your mistake.
There you go.
I think I was from like a football coach. So
Hell yeah.
I'm going to keep learning. It's not repeat them. So that's where I'm at.
That's the key. That's the key to, you learn from your mistakes, don't keep doing the same shit over and over. I'm doing pretty good. Just got over being sick. But, man, it was a nice, needed break from everything,
Reset.
Yeah, it was. Circumstances wasn't perfect, but, I got enough time to where I could clear my mind and kind of decompress and, get ready for a return, back to work and continue being the best I can for the people I serve, Yeah.
I'm doing good. I can tell it's Monday though. But I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you got the case of the Mondays.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever have the case of the Tuesdays? Do you ever feel better on Tuesday? Like, yes, I'm getting up to go to work on Tuesday.
I always feel better on Tuesday. It's Mondays that's hard for me.
That's all I was just wondering.
Unless you get a case of the Mondays on the Tuesdays. But by Wednesday, I'm like, there's the weekend right there. I can see it. It's all downhill from Wednesday.
Yeah, that's just one of my dumb observations.
It's clever.
I'll ask the first question. What were some of the events that led to you getting into your recovery?
So in 2018, I had overdosed, and when I came to, I was face down on the ground, and my arm was hurting, and I felt like liquid leaking down. I was like, what is that? I looked, and I had was against a space heater, so 3rd degree burn all on my arm. And they sent me to Winston-Salem to get a skin graft, but I got kicked out of the hospital up there because they walked in on me using. And I sat up there for 2 days waiting on a ride, but my oldest sister finally came and got me. And then within a week of being back, she overdosed and passed away. And then, so I went wild for about 6 months, got some trafficking charges, was in jail for a year, came out, went to rehab, and been clean since.
Which rehab did you go to?
Con.
Good old Con ODE. Thank the tribe for that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just a little blown back. I'm used to people saying, I'm just tired of it. This was actually events that led to recovery. So, thank you for sharing all that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't an easy road. It wasn't one thing. There's a lot of things piled up on you there.
Yeah.
So, I just thank you for sharing that. I think some people do, after you hear people come through here, like, I was just tired of it. Or
sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, but hearing somebody's like, nah.
This, and this.
Somebody got it. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. So going through all that, what were some of the things that helped you in your early recovery?
My early recovery, so when I graduated, I didn't graduate from Con, I got kicked out. I was long-term, and I got kicked out at 8 months, but I went straight to Oxford House in Asheville. That played a huge part in my recovery, being there. Just being surrounded, Asheville is such a huge recovery community.
Yeah.
So you're surrounded by it all day, every day. There's meetings everywhere. So I got a sponsor, and I started working the steps, and then I started working in recovery while I was over there. So having that support of all my roommates and my sponsor and just Asheville as a community, it was like what helped me.
So it was a change in culture that really done it.
Yeah.
Because it's our recovery community here is not quite what it is over there, and there's kind of a lot of pitfalls when you come back to Cherokee. You know, it can be a challenge to, you know, stay away from the people you need to stay away from, or the places you don't need to be going.
Yeah, and it's such a small community anyways, it's hard to stay away from everything and everybody.
Yeah.
What are some of your other motivations that have helped you in your recovery?
So I think my motivations was just because I was so tired of living that life, like, and I lost my mom and I lost my sister, and I just didn't want to lose anybody else, and I didn't want my kids to lose their mom. So my kids were like my biggest motivation, and now I have another daughter, a 1-year-old, and she's a huge motivation too.
That's a new motivation too. It's like,
Yeah.
she's gonna be somebody that never saw me in my dreams.
Yeah, she's had me as an active, present parent in her life since she was born. My 2 boys didn't have that.
Yeah, so you have new motivations. How important has community been and your family in your recovery?
I think community plays a huge part, especially knowing that people's there for you and going to be there for you to support you. So like before I started working as peer support, I had like the previous peer supports there that were my peer support before I moved to Asheville. But really my community was in Asheville once I was over there. But when I came back here, I started to be a part of the community that will help the people still struggling and suffering in addiction.
So instead of running from that community, now you're being a part of strengthening that community.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because you learn some stuff probably in Asheville that you can bring here that people probably want to think about, or just a different perspective.
Yeah.
Why has recovery helped you be more grateful for?
Life. And everything, really just being a responsible, productive citizen, you know, and being able to be there to support and help others, and being a parent. And I mean, I've learned so much since being in recovery, just being responsible.
Is there, like, a lot of people is coming here and ask this question, is like, we need more meetings or whatever, so what events or programs could be done in Cherokee that isn't being done that could help others?
Well, the meetings, because there's not many at all. I feel like more people in the community should like open their own meetings, you know. And if we could have one every day of the week, like that would be somewhere that people struggling or even thinking about recovery could just come to meet with everybody and see what it's all about.
It would be great if like each community had like a celebrate recovery thing like once a week.
Yes.
You know, because one good way to get people to come to your meetings is have a nice spread like food and drinks and stuff. You know.
And then people telling their stories.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I asked the question. Great idea. Do you have any coping skills that you use that could help others?
Diamond art. I love diamond art.
I need to learn.
Elaborate on that. What is that?
So I actually was teaching a group about it, and I've got some supplies if y'all would like some. But they're different pictures, and they come with these little bitty diamonds that you pick up with these pins and wax, and you stick them onto the picture. But it's just like, you don't have to think about it. You could just do it for hours and just, like, it's a huge coping skill for a lot of people.
All right.
Right on. So it's like arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because I know
Arts and crafts are good.
one of my early coping skills was just like coloring. And I went wild buying adult coloring books, and like thousands of gel pens, because I was... and I did that for like 2 years.
Then you got burnt out on it.
Yeah, and I was like, you want some?
I gave it away. Having a hobby something that it ain't even got to be nothing fancy or $2,000 or whatnot. But if you're really into it and you really like it, having that to lean on when when you got downtime or just have an urge to want to do your hobby or whatever. It's good to have something, even if it's something new. If it's things you used to do. I know for a lot of people, the little hobbies that we used to do when we were actively using really serve more as like activators in recovery than they do as hobbies that they used to be. So it can be helpful to pick up new hobbies,
Beading is a big one too.
Yeah. And that, that's a skill you can develop and make a little extra money doing.
Yeah, and while being involved with cultural things,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you were saying there, because basketball is something I enjoyed with my boys and stuff, but we were using, so it's not enjoyable like that no more. So I get that. Or, it doesn't have the same dopamine rush as it did when we were just fun having it. Now it seems
tweaking out on it.
now it seems like it's missing something. It's missing those people. And maybe I just enjoy doing the event with those people.
The camaraderie.
Yeah. Or maybe I just need to find new people. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the keys to, I think, building a successful recovery is doing things that you love doing with other sober people who love doing those things also.
Yeah. Is there any other advice you would have somebody in active addiction looking to get out?
Just don't keep searching for it, don't give up. I know when I was using it, I felt like I was a lost cause. There was no hope for me. But, I ended up finding that hope.
Another thing is, I think it should be stressed more, for anybody that might be watching these, or if they're still in active addiction and struggling and feeling that way about themselves, because I did too. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we all did. Is that the peer support specialists? We came from that too. We did shady, illegal shit for our addiction. We're our worst selves, and lived in the streets and didn't take care of ourselves to whatever degree. So no matter what somebody may or may not have done that they think is just the worst thing, it makes them unredeemable. That's not true. I mean, we've all done really fucked up stuff. It's without going into specifics. We've all done really, really bad shit to ourselves and others in active addiction, and with all the resources available, here we are, and with making that effort ourselves, fighting that fight, because it is, especially early on, but with all the support and all, resources and everything,
it can be done.
It can be done. We're proof that it can be done. I mean,
I think a big thing too is like self-forgiveness.
Yeah.
Like if you can't forgive yourself for the stuff you've done, you'll never be able to dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah. For me, that kind of went hand in hand with changing my self-talk. It had to change from being like all this negative stuff that just reaffirmed what I was feeling about myself. I had to change that, change it to positive things, and positive thoughts. Think happy thoughts. It sounds corny, but, you practice that shit enough, it gets to where,
you'll focus more on the positive instead of the negative.
Yeah, whatever you focus on in your mind is what will be in your life. It will manifest, And, we're probably the only creatures on earth that, whatever we have in our minds, we can make happen in reality. And whether that's positive or negative, it's what it's going to be. It's easier said than done, but, there's all of us are here to help people. There's resources all around. I mean, it takes, to take an initiative and not letting frustration take your courage away when shit doesn't go the way you think it should be going or happening as fast as you think it should be happening. Keep grinding in your recovery, because nothing's going to line up with that timeline you've got in your head. Like, okay, well, I've been clean this long. This should be happening. Or, well, I'm not using anymore and I'm taking medication, so now everything should just fall into place. Now, you got to work for it. You got to work for it. And the harder you work for it, the more results you'll see.
Yeah.
And in recovery, your results are long lasting,
And it's great. It's so great, too. Like, everything that comes with recovery. So, like, you're working a job, so you can get a new car, you can get a house. And you can buy things that you actually want to spend money on, like whatever you want to, like clothes or purses or shoes.
I am grateful that I'm in a position where I can bitch about having bills to pay and be able to pay them,
No, you're not going to have to worry about the power getting shut off.
Or the water or whatever. Like, damn, I got a power bill coming up. Well, I can pay it. Water bill, I can pay it. Fucking car payment, insurance, go ahead, pay it. And then you don't have your addiction, forcing you to spend your extra money or all your money on basically killing yourself. It's going towards your life, being, like you said, being productive, and making your own dreams come true. It sounds silly, but I mean, it's shit. 5 or 6 years ago, man, I didn't think I would ever be where I'm at now.
No, me either.
I just thought, hey, I'll just be a lifelong piece of shit that's not worth a damn to his kids or anybody else. But those are the things I was telling myself then, and that changed. And with all the help around here, I made it change. I made it change. We all did. You guys did too.
I think being that encouragement to other people is like what helps me stay in recovery too.
Yeah.
Just knowing like I'm helping other people.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things for me being in my recovery is finding things that hold me accountable because I don't have like kids or a partner. I just have me and my parents and my brother. So like this podcast is kind of me being accountable to something. These people watching or the people that encourage me out saying, oh, I'm proud of you, whatever. So I got those people I'm accountable to.
Yeah.
And so also I'm just not wanting to let myself down now because I'm actually building this and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. And it's perfectly okay to have standards for your own self. Like you got to meet your own standards at the very least, whatever they are. When I was using, hell, I didn't have any. Yeah. But now, there's like a lot of shit I will absolutely not even remotely entertain doing. And all the things that, I don't know, risky behavior for me nowadays is like, oh, damn, do I really need to buy this extra thing like on Amazon? It's just, I guess, impulse spending. I'm like, damn, do I really need like another knife? Do I really need another pair of shoes?
Mine's speeding. Like if I was going like 10 miles per hour, I'm like, oh shoot, I better slow down before I get a speeding ticket.
Yeah, shit. I drive like and I don't mean anything by this, but I drive like an old lady. I'm like, I'll go like 4, maybe 5 miles over the speed limit. Somebody tailgates me, like, I don't care. You should have been on time and you wouldn't have to rush around tailgating me through town.
I'm just late for it. I can't help it.
See, like
that's risky behavior.
Yeah. My insurance bill is what keeps my speeding accountable. Like I want that shit going up.
I learned that from transit because they were cops wouldn't pull us like we can speed around.
No seatbelt or nothing. Yeah.
But I was 15 years.
That was the end.
That's why I don't work there. I guess I got fired. Refusing drug tests. That's why I got fired. So yeah, I mean, I think we've got some advice in there. We got a lot of good stuff there. So is there any shout outs or people you want to thank that might have helped you in your recovery?
Just my kids and my family for being there for me, my in-laws, and just my coworkers.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, I just want to shout out people out there who keep watching too.
Yeah.
For them ones, you know, yo.
Yeah, everybody that watches these, I mean, you know, damn, we appreciate it. And everybody that tells us good things when they see us out, you know.
Thank you for that. That's makes you, I was going to say it's worth it, because that does make it worth it, but that's not why we do it.
It makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. In a good way. In a good way.
And the fact that you encourage us lets more people come on and share. So,
yeah,
that's what the main goal is, having more people sharing their stories to show that there's many different ways and find what works for you. And that's how you recover.
Because everybody's recovery is different.
Yep.
Nobody gets clean the same way. Nobody stays clean the same way. Everybody's coping skills and supports, everything is completely different.
And hopefully we're changing people's perspective, people that have never known active addiction but maybe have loved ones in active addiction or not, but changing the way they see people that are not only in recovery but also actively using. You know, I think it's easy to write somebody off, you know, just because they think it's like a moral failing that they use substances, you know, like that's a bad person because they use drugs. They use drugs because they're a bad person. There's so many factors that go into why people use substances. It's not just cut and dry. It's definitely not a moral issue.
Yeah.
Not at its core.
And it's crazy, like the majority of people in addiction have suffered trauma.
Yeah.
Major traumas.
Yeah. Adverse childhood experiences.
A lot of people don't even know that was trauma.
Yeah. It was normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that they've experienced things because trauma, all it is stress. It don't mean you have to be, your body was just in a stressful situation. It's flight or flight risk. So you didn't have to be like beat to death or beat on. It's verbal or there's all kind of trauma out there.
Also, you know, when coming up from childhood, you know, not learning healthy ways to deal with what's going on with you. What we saw was what we learned, and a lot of times that was, you know, for celebrations, parents were drinking and carrying on. If they were mad or sad about something, going through something hard, well, they was drinking or whatever, you know. And so we saw that, and that was a learned behavior.
Yeah, that's why we get to perspective and we're able to see, like, our parents may not have been perfect or whatever, or oh man, wonder what was going on. They were self-medicating.
Yeah.
That's why Dad came home and had a beer after work. His body hurt or whatever. He was doing drywall.
Yeah.
So, all right. He didn't get drunk. He had 2 beers and a big joint. And he went to bed and got up at 4 o'clock and left.
In order to be able to do the same thing, you know.
So I thank you for being here and sharing with us today.
Thank y'all for having me.
And for Firekeeper Recovery, I'm Brant Grant.
Bumper Smith.
Bethany Powers.
And as always, we'll leave the light on for you.
Cut.
Eastern Bay, Cherokee, Firekeeper Recovery. We the firekeepers, the firekeepers, the firekeepers, the firekeepers. Yeah, coming to you live from the mountains of smoke. Firekeeper Recovery, bringing you hope. If you're living in darkness, look for the light, cause our fire is burning and they're helping you fight. It's the firekeepers, the firekeepers, 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 recovery. Bumpin' BG, talk recovery.